Uh,
All right, welcome to episode number 95 of CoCreative NoCode's Office Hours. I'm Tonya, your host. We're here with Nathan and also with Thomas, and Kim is here as usual as well. And this is a place, if you're first tuning in for the first time on Facebook, we broadcast live to Facebook. We also syndicate on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel there. We do this every day of the week, Monday through Friday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And we welcome our members to bring any of their bubble bugs, feature requests, and topics. All is welcome here. So we'll go ahead and get started. Nathan has a question to start us off today. So welcome, Nathan.
Hi, Tonya, thanks. So this is not really about, they're really just trying to figure out a best practice. So I've got a content management type app that I'm working on. We can create a new thing. It's an asset, and it's no problem. I've gotten all the way through that, and then we can come back and edit the new asset, or excuse me, edit the asset. No problem there. But then I've started to run into issues. So the way that I did it, I had one kind of manage asset screen, and then two different screens, whether it was new or edit. To me, that's just what made sense when I did it. And now I'm finding, so I'm pulling up, if it's a new asset, that I'm pulling up a completely different set of fields than if I'm editing the same asset. And now I'm realizing that it's causing me some issues with that. And really just looking for, what's the best practice if I just want to use one set of fields, but it's new in some cases, and then I have to come back and edit in some cases. And the reason I'm asking is because I want to mark some things as complete, and do some other steps. I want to be able to review whether that asset is complete. But if I'm checking it on when it's new, but then when I come back to check it when it's edited, it's a completely separate workflow. And I'm just running into, it seems like I'm duplicating a lot of things, but I can't think of how I would do it otherwise, using just one set of data.
Sure. So we'll take a cue from Canvas here because they have it nailed. And I think I learned it from them. Maybe I learned it from Greg John, but basically, like, you see this pop-up with add edit thing, right? And so you're going to use the same pop-up for both. So it's the same fields and everything. And then the difference is when you save the changes, it says hide pop-up, but really what it's going to do is it's going to trigger this thing, create edit thing. And nope, hang on a second, where is it? Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to have conditions for if this pop-up here, if it's set to be a specific type of thing, and if its value is empty, then you're going to create a new thing. And if its value is not empty, then you're going to edit the thing. And the thing would be the value of the pop-up.
So if it's new, you wouldn't be sending anything into that pop-up. If it's edit, you would be sending you would display
data in the asset.
Right.
Yep.
And it's that condition. What's the condition trigger though? So obviously I assume it would trigger whether there's anything in those fields.
Yes, because this group here, so this group inherits the thing from the pop-up, and then this group inherits the thing from this group, and then this button inherits the thing from the group that it's in. So if this pop-up is assigned to a particular asset, then that asset would also be connected to this button. So then you could, when you start edit workflow, you would say here, only when parent group's thing is not empty.
Right, okay.
And then you could duplicate it, and you could have one when it is, when it is empty, what you would do with it instead. So, and you can run those things in the same, I have had that where the condition, rather than being on the button, is actually on the actions. So you could say the data could be create a new thing, and only when parent groups thing is not empty. It's like not set at this particular time. Let me go and fix that so you can see what I mean. So animals, and then here, so now when I create a new thing, when parent group's animal is empty, I'm going to make a new animal. And then I can make changes to a thing. The thing to change would be the parent group's animal. Only when parent group's animal is not empty.
Right. So of those two ways, is it better to split it at the top level, the workflow level, or within the one workflow? Or does it really matter?
I think this is fine just to do it in one workflow. And generally what I would do is I'd actually have it trigger a custom workflow, because this is in a reusable element. So I would have it trigger this workflow here, but put this workflow in a custom event. And that way I can do it from other places on the page as well.
So can you walk through that? Because I've tried that. And you always spur me into trying new things, and then half the time I forget what you tell me. And then I've been working with the custom events, but there's some times that I can't figure out how to get the data. Like I want to save a thing or make an edit to a thing, but it's coming from a different reusable, or somehow I'm not able to get the actions that I want to do in that custom event aren't, or the data isn't available. I'm not sure exactly how I'm trying to word that, but there's sometimes that it seems like that custom event isn't in the right spot, or I'm not able to find the data that I'm looking for, or the thing that I'm looking for.
Right. So what I do here is I'm just gonna cut this and paste it here. And cut this and paste here. So this doesn't apply anymore. So you have to send something in. Let me think through that.
So yeah, that's my situation. How do you send information into that custom event? Or I'm not, that's where I always get stuck.
So you can, so the type of thing would be an animal. And then here would say when current workflows animal is empty, we'll create a new thing. And when it's not empty, where am I? Changes to thing. Right. So here I set a type of thing, and then I'm saying current workflow animals, if it's empty, then I'm going to create a new one. And if it's not empty, or if it's empty, I will make a new one. If it's not empty, I will make changes to the one that it equals.
Right.
And then what we have to do is when we call on this, we have to tell it what that animal is. So when I click that save button and I trigger this custom event, I say here, and it's going to say, what's the workflow thing? And it would be parent groups animals. And that might be empty, or it might not be.
So workflow thing is what data is getting sent, basically.
Exactly. So I'm triggering the data, I'm triggering the custom event. The custom event has a specific type of thing that it's looking for. So because I set this here, that's why here it had the workflow workflow thing as mandatory. Now, it doesn't mean it's mandatory in terms of like you actually have to send a value that has a value. It's just mandatory that you specify like what you're sending into it. It can still be an empty value. And then here, if it is empty, I make a new thing. If it isn't empty, I modify the thing that was sent in.
I see. I'm mostly sure that at the custom event level, I just haven't selected the type. So I've probably never seen that workflow thing option.
Got it. Yeah.
Which is where I've never been able to figure out how to get that stuff sent to it. So,
yep.
Okay. And so I'm building things with multiple reusables on one page. So a one page, but with multiple reusables. Can you remind me how do you access custom events from other workflows, or excuse me, other reusables?
Sure. So if I go to the page, which one did I do? I said create, edit, something like that. I have too many. It's obviously close to signing up for a new thing. Let's see here, virtual data. Add edit, there we go. So if I put that menu focus template onto the page, when I go into the workflows, here I can trigger a custom event from a reusable element. And this is the only reusable element that I have on the page. And then I can look at the custom events that I have in that reusable. So this is the one we just made.
So so you dropped that, whatever you called that in there, would it, and I think you've told me before, and maybe this is a Canvas thing, but does it make sense to put those global reusables in the header? If you have a header on every page, does that make sense to do it that way?
Yeah, if you need it everywhere, then absolutely. You would put a reusable in the header because the header is used everywhere and then you can access it. So Canvas does that with the header, with the Canvas has this thing called pop-ups reusable.
Right.
Reusable pop-ups or something like that. And that's exactly what it is it's put into the header, and then you can access any of these sort of system-wide pop-ups from any page.
Hey, Tonya, I've been kind of doing that, but not using the header.
Yeah, how have you been doing it?
I can show you if I like. And
sure.
I kind of think it's a lot better because when you actually go and search for the input, when you're doing the workflows, it doesn't come up with all of the different pop-up ones.
Okay.
For instance, if you've got like 10 different pop-ups that say first name, and then you're trying to find the right first name one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just show.
By the way, hi Jordan, and hi Jay.
So Tonya, real quick, thank you. I'm gonna have to drop off in a minute. I'm gonna watch as long as I can, but thank you, and I'll of course always be in touch.
Yeah, awesome. Good to talk to you today. Missed you.
So what I've done here is just use the pop-up hidden variables, and then just put the reusable element for each different pop-up in here. And then you can trigger it from anywhere on the page and just send data to that one element. And then inside each of the reusable element, there's only one pop-up, which in this case is this one.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to do the back-end workflows, it's a lot easier to work everything out, instead of having a whole different heaps, a whole different lot of fields that you need to find which one goes to which pop-up.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just an idea.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Thomas, did you have, I know you told me that you didn't, but I'm just going to ask again just to be sure. Do you have anything?
No,
okay.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. And Jay, did you bring anything for today?
I have something. It's something super basic. Let me pull it up. I've got that welcome email that goes out to users, and it's not personalizing correctly.
Okay.
I think I might have it just in the wrong spot, but who knows? Let me share. Oh, okay. Well, I just realized the answer to the question. It's in the wrong spot. Never mind.
Okay.
They haven't given us a username yet, so of course it's blank. Is there any way to? Never mind. I know the answer to that too.
Okay. Anything else? Calum's joining us. Cool. Let's see. Jordan, did you have anything for today?
Nothing really. One thing I couldn't work out how to do was this was a little while ago, but it just reminded me now. But with the BDK text element rich text box, it doesn't seem like you can change the border color.
Oh, okay.
Remove it completely, but
you can't change it. Oh, this is one of those tricky CSS questions, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Like how you can grab that specific border and then make a change to it using CSS.
So
We weren't successful trying to do that with you, Jay, the last time.
What was that?
We weren't successful figuring out how to change the colors of the buttons from that plugin that you wanted, right?
Yeah, it was the calendar.
Yeah. I think the shortest, the path of least resistance is to contact the plugin creator, which in this case, if it's BDK, is Gaurav, and that can be tricky because he's very responsive when he can be, but he's also not responsive when he's really busy. So, and he gets busier and busier all the time. The idea behind what we were trying to do with Jay was to have a look, if you right click.
Oh, that worked.
Oh, did you get it to change?
Yeah. What was different about it then? It's been a little while since I looked at it because
Hey, Calum, how's it going?
Hey,
you didn't have to present today?
Oh, no, I did. I was just first. So,
so it was really fast.
Yeah, it was. Wanted way too much, had no money. For some reason, I still have to present those ones. But yeah.
Hello, I want you to make another insert unicorn app here for $200. Can you get it
yes.
yesterday?
I thought you were reading a Facebook comment when you saw it.
No, I was just remembering our conversation about it the other day.
Oh yeah, there we go, Tonya. So see, they've both got the same border, but it looks different. So I think that maybe this one has a double border, there's one, maybe.
Maybe an element within an element, or?
Well, maybe there's see on this border, I've got it set to the same color and width 1. And then on this one, it's the same color and width 1. But when you look at it,
yeah, it does look different.
yeah. So I'm thinking maybe like, because when I changed it to red before, it looked like you could faintly see like a
double line.
Well, yeah, it looks like you can see a little bit of gray still. So maybe that's what's causing the effect.
Come on, Bubble, you can do it. We believe in you. That's a lengthy loading time.
Okay. Do you see what I mean? You can kind of see like a little bit of.
Yep, it does. It looks like the plugin element has its own border, and then you're like adding a border to it as well.
Yeah.
Probably an HTML element, isn't it? Entitled, yeah, some element that has to be wrapped into a group to be able to be put on the plugin store, and they've added a border to the group as well as the actual plugin itself, which is weird.
Can you get rid of that or not?
I don't think so. I think that's a plugin question. The only way I could think of, as long as you're not using any fade, the only
wait.
As long as you're not using any transparency on the color, you can effectively put the text editor in another group and then set the groups, whatever the group outline is. But you're trying to match the input to it, aren't you?
Well, see, now I've taken the border away, so there's no border. So none, but yeah, see, now you can see it's still there, it's gray. And the gray's different.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I just change the gray on my other box, right?
You could do that, but that's sad that you have to work around it. I was thinking if you inspect it, maybe we could figure out if there's a class or something that we could target.
There is this thing that the plugin editor did with my repeating group, the reverse repeating group, where he used arbitrary text and was able to add CSS to another element from an HTML element.
Okay.
Would that be useful at all in this situation?
It very well might be.
If you want to pop into my app, it's in the messenger section. I don't really understand it. You probably, if you took an eye in, you peep at it, you probably understand it better than I do, but it's called arbitrary text.
Okay. Yeah, so that's just, but within an HTML element, but you could also just do it on the page. You could add some. Would it be a script? It would be a style. So if you just click on that and see if I can't see, your screen's too small for me to read at this point. It's like only showing half the screen for some reason.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better, but. So if you're like, no, but like kind of get the whole thing to highlight if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that CZZVN?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm taking an eye exam.
CZZVN.
Okay. So like we could potentially try to do some CSS and do a style tag on the page and see if we could target it and define the border that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've had some success with that method. I haven't had a ton of success with that method, but then I'm not a CSS expert. So, but you might be able to grab that whole thing and determine its border differently. And you don't mind that the gray line between the two sections stays gray, and
it's probably not so bad here.
Yeah, just as long as the outside border isn't different.
Yeah, I've got no idea about this stuff.
Yep. Well, the success that I've had was, what was I doing? There was like a highlight of the text inside of an input or something, and we wanted it removed. And it was very bad from an accessibility standpoint to remove it, but I did it anyway.
Do you know what to do or not?
No. So, I mean, I know that you can kind of take that class that you found, the div class, and you can kind of look up how to construct a statement in CSS that you want to change the border, referring back to that ID class. And then you can make the style statement, and where you would make it is in the editor on the page itself in the editor. Can you go to your editor?
Yep.
And then click into the page element instead of the text editor element. And then, yeah, so you see where you are. So you would put the style in there that would be targeting that specific thing on your page to change the border to what you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should we try it?
Sure.
Web3 School has a really good library that shows you all the different functions, or whatever it's called, WE3.
Yeah.
So is that what we grabbed, div CZZVM?
Exactly.
So just chuck that in there, like.
Well, why are you changing what's already there?
I just copied and pasted it.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. VM, is it? Do we need to put anything else in there?
Yeah, we've got to figure out how to construct that statement. So what Thomas was saying is can you link us in the chat? Or are you driving or something? Thanks.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, so Thomas is going to drop a link in the chat and you can go and find, yeah, exactly. Like we have to.
That's it right there.
Research exactly how to construct that statement.
Thinking that might work.
I think it might. I also think it might not.
A politician.
Right. I'm hedging. I'm hedging from experience though. Like
yeah. Didn't work.
no.
I think there probably needs to be something else around this, eh?
Yeah, some sort of like, yeah, or sometimes you have to put important
I was
with
going
an
to say,
exclamation point to kind of override something.
Is there a chance that there's an important thing on the element itself?
It's possible.
That we can't change, because if it is on there, then you won't be able to change it based on the CSS.
Yep, it's true.
Is there a way to find out what color that is? The border?
Yes, you can use
inspect.
Well, you can yeah, I guess if you can find it in the inspect, it could be.
Or the really hacky way is just to screenshot the page and go to a website that lets you inspect the colors on the page.
Oh yeah.
I just use a plugin in Chrome for that.
Is there one?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Border box. Do you reckon that's what it is? Border sizing, border box.
Border radius 6 pixels.
Border box.
So we're
See there?
Mm-hmm.
There's
I
border
do.
box.
Yeah, I don't know what that means necessarily, but I do see the border radius. Can you scroll to the right so we can see the rest?
No, that's as far as it goes.
That's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, we can see it all. It just cuts it off in the middle of the line. It's uncomfortable to read.
Yeah.
All right.
There it is, bottom, RGB, 17, 24, 39, try that.
Is that the color?
Yeah, Bubble does it with the hex codes, but just go to Google and type in RGB to hex, and you'll be able to convert it. Yeah. And then, yeah, just type
in
RGB.
17, 24, 39.
Yep. 24, 39.
39?
39, yeah. There you go. I don't know if that is the color of the element box or the box that Bubble puts the element in, but it's one of them.
It looks too dark.
But hang on. Have they put any
that might be the font color, yeah?
That could be the font color, yeah. I'm just looking if there's anywhere else. So it looks like this here class equals bubble element 1540. That long number looks like that is actually just the element. I'm not sure if you can inspect what's inside the element like that. I don't know.
Inside, what's this one? Display box, position. Maybe it's one of these. It's definitely that one, eh? Yeah. Definitely one of those three on that one. Oh, well, that's right. I'll just keep playing if you guys want to carry on.
All right, Calum, did you have something for today? Or are you just hanging out?
Just hanging out.
That's cool.
I'm sure.
Well, let's see.
Did you ever end up getting an opinion on Xano compared to what's this other database?
I have not, but but it's Eli says that working in backend lists, that it's very apparent that it wasn't built for no coders. Like they're just starting to introduce no code tools onto a platform that was built for people with expertise in regular coding of databases. So yeah,
not user friendly then.
Yeah, so not as user friendly as I thought it was going to be. So definitely going to be a challenge for whichever developer at AirDev is assigned to it. But it's super, super powerful, which is very cool. So, and Eli was tweeting about how he couldn't find the right documentation or whatever, and then Backendless kind of tweeted back and was like, "Here's your documentation."
Oh, that's cool.
So,
there you go.
Kind of fun.
Has he said anything about Xano?
Yeah, so he's been having fun working in Xano, but I haven't gotten a direct comparison from him about the two.
Gotcha.
I think Xano is maybe a more no-code friendly.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah. And then there was another one I was trying to find because there were a couple of tweets exchanged not too long ago that I saw. Someone was building their backend on something not Xano and not backendless. And I can't remember its name. And the person who tweeted it isn't somebody that I follow yet. And you can't go back and look at other people that you do follow. You can see their comments as they come through, but I haven't figured out how to go and look and check what they were actually commenting on. So that's okay. All right, well, I have about 45 more minutes. What should we do with the time?
Facebook.
What about Facebook?
Let's build it.
Let's build Facebook. 45 minutes. We should have been done a half hour ago.
I've got a budget of $100. Go.
What's the next what's the next social trend? Is the question. The last one was video, right? TikTok. What's next? Though? That's the real question.
Augmented reality.
Metaverse.
Yeah, because Zuckerberg came up with that thing, didn't he, saying that he wants to turn Facebook into some augmented reality world where you could meet people and things. That's the future, doesn't he?
I mean, NFTs are popping off. So.
Yeah, it seems weird, but in the book,
can we make an NFT with the bubble?
An NFT with Bobby? That's what you want to do with 45 minutes?
I don't think we can do it. I'm curious. I'm curious to know if that's even possible, because I had a buddy of mine come to me and ask me if that's something that I could do on bubble. Yeah.
I don't know if you could create an NFT. You could probably create an NFT marketplace through some API that it's a blockchain with to track Nexus? NFT. Yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead.
Well, let's do some research together.
That'd be next level. I'd build out a collection and put it out there. There was an article recently released about some little 12-year-old kid who invested $300 and returned $400,000 worth in returns. Rather, just that was the end result, 400,000.
Do you see the guy?
He created an NFT collection.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same guy, but he created like dinosaur pictures or something like that. It was. He used £390,000 he made from it, and he's like 12 years old. And his dad worked in IT for like 40 years. And his son's been doing this. Crazy time. God, imagine that. Imagine being a parent and your kid coming, Daddy, I know you've worked for 20 years doing your job, but I just made £500,000 making dinosaur pictures.
Overnight, too. You gotta like stay away. You don't want to spend too much time looking at that. That could be me right there.
Thomas, we're having a hard time hearing you, or at least I am. There's.
Can you?
It's kind
hear
of
me a little better?
like you're kind of in and out.
Can you hear me
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. I'm washing clothes, so a lot of noise in the background.
Let's see here. So there's Nexus blockchain, which is a bubble plugin you can use. And it's basically API calls to Nexus. But of course, you'd have to have Nexus account, and that's going to cost some money. So, block user, create asset, get asset, transfer asset, claim. I mean, that's kind of extensive. So I think the answer is you can use an API to kind of run the heavy lifting of a blockchain-based app, and then Bubble is your front end.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Oh, wait, what was that? Are you picking on me because it took me like 5 minutes to even find this? And you wanted it yesterday?
I was just saying the answer is yes, you can do it for like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yes, you can do it. It might take you more than 45 minutes.
I wonder if you can actually create like the design of an NFT through Bubble, right? Through the front end interface. That'd be interesting. Instead of doing, like you said, the heavy lifting, the background stuff, right? Adding displays and all.
Yeah.
Bubble's not great with graphic design and stuff like that, is it?
Yeah, but you can use JavaScript libraries for that. So we just finished, or we're just about to finish a custom plugin that is utilizing a JavaScript library for users to create their own charts. So like it's charting software. And I mean, it's pretty fancy what you can do. And all it is, I say all it is like I know how to do it and could do it myself. All it is using a JavaScript library to make the calls, to make the interface so that you could like drag shapes onto the canvas and then draw lines between them. And then you can annotate each of the shapes, and you can decide which shapes are available. You can limit which colors are available to kind of brand it for yourself. That's what our client did. So in that sense, I guess you could, right? Then I don't know, I guess, is there a particular format? I'm not as familiar with NFTs. So is there like a particular format or something? Like, how do you make sure that it's like you are the owner of the only one? Because that's the point, right?
I still don't get what an NFT is though, because I was reading about the guy who built the dinosaur things, but apparently even if you own the NFT, you don't own the copyright to it. You don't own the actual image. I'm still trying to work out what you actually own by owning the NFT.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, but it's like the same thing with art. It's all perceived value, right?
Yeah, but at least with the art, like you say, right, I own this
It's
art.
like more of a game of psychology than a design art. But,
oh, so it's like cryptocurrency then. Just
yeah, I mean, people are getting sued. People are getting sued though for, minting, as they say, tokens that represent like things that have a ownership behind it already. I forget who exactly, but I have heard of scenarios such as that. So I really don't know the law behind it. I think it's crazy. It's not something I would, dedicate my life to. But
I was about to say, because you could then just like create an NFT of the Mona Lisa or something, but like, yeah, look, come buy my NFT.
Yeah, exactly. You do Van Gogh,
I don't actually own
$1 billion, $1 billion fine.
Do they have the dummies book yet? Maybe I need the dummies book
for NFT.
like NFT for dummies. Okay. What else? There's got to be more.
I can give you a task.
Yes,
if you like one. Yeah, we've discussed it before, but so obviously my trending hashtags thing, the way Twitter does it.
Mm-hmm.
To break down the problem, I think we need to be able to extract hashtags from a post, which would just be something saved to the database through a text input. We then need to be able to work out what's trending. So we need to work out when, take the hashtags out, somehow assign them to a data type with a date next to them so we can work out when they were published, and then add up the number of hashtags that are the same within that period of time so we can work out what's trending at the same time.
Okay, so do you already know how to extract?
I think there's a plugin. Yeah, I Tagger or something like that.
You said Tagger?
Yeah, I think it's a bubble one. Oh, Dev.
You know, that badass company we work with.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now I have Tagger, so I can extract emails, tags, mentions, URLs from any text source.
Calum, with that tagger, is it possible to extract the user from it and save?
Yes, so you can extract, well, it doesn't extract a user, it extracts an app mention. So what you can do is, so you choose what you app mention. So you can actually use any symbol to trigger it, but most people use app, and then you specify what it searches for. So in my case, I'm searching for people that I'm following that I can tag in my post. What it doesn't do is it doesn't actually connect that person to the post that you're creating. What it does is it says, here's something with an at in front of it, and the text after it you can put in a different color, and you can specify what happens when you click on that. So when I've got it set up, so when you click on that, it does a search for a profile where the username is equal to that tag. So the tag doesn't actually contain the user, but you can do it in the same way to have the same effect.
Oh, yeah. So you couldn't trigger a notification to that user, right?
Yeah, no, you could. So you would, when you click post, you would you would add an extra step in your workflow to say create notification, and notification receiver is equal to user, where username is equal to, do a search for username that matches the tagger, and do first item, because it would always try and return a list. But you can obviously say first item, and obviously only one person will show up with that username if you've stopped people using multiples of the same username. So you could send a notification from it. It's not as simple as just once you do it, it sends one, but you can definitely do it.
Oh, is it only like an element though? So you can the element has to be on the page to do the extraction. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Let's do some extraction.
Is that the only one, Calum, or is there any other ones that do the tagging?
I think there's another one, but that's the one I use, and I've got that up and running and working really well, and it works perfectly. So I'd recommend that one. But there's that's Tagger. Might be another one. Yeah, it looks like that's the only one I've installed. So yeah, that's definitely the best one to use. And it's by Edo, so it will be maintained and they'll keep releasing updates if there's anything to fix.
Oh, yeah.
So you need to do the ID attribute thing. I don't think that's how it works. I think you need to put in, so you put the you put an input on the page, and then you refer to the input in the actual tagger element.
Got it. I'm just trying to find the actions is all. Like, is it in the elements here or where is it? The plugin?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Here it is, setup mentions and clear mentions.
No. So those are the ones to set up the at mentions. We're looking for the extract hashtags, aren't we?
Right, we're looking for the extract element. So like the state, I guess. So hang on, let me go to backend workflows, trigger. I'll delete this. Not a custom event, triggering API workflow. I guess I want to send a list of hashtags. So how do you want to construct your trending data exactly?
That's my question.
Right, but okay.
So
no, but like but you have the UI in mind, like what you want to show on the screen. So like what is it that you're wanting to show the user?
Okay, so working backwards, we want to be able to show the most used hashtags contained in a post in the last 24 hours. So we need a full list of all hashtags that have been used on posts in the last 24 hours. And then so that's step one. And then step two is to work out how we group those hashtags where the hashtag text is the same and work out which count is the highest so we can display them as a list.
Okay. I don't have my camera on, so you can't see my thinking face. It's
a difficult one, isn't it? Like building Twitter on Bubble is so easy, apart from the trending hashtags bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about it for so long, I can't work out a way to do it because I don't know how to...
So you want to pay attention to the last 24 hours, and you want basically every hashtag that is used will have a count for the last 24 hours, which means we need to have a hashtag thing for each hashtag. And then we need to have a 24-hour bucket.
So we basically need to create a new hashtag if
where
that hashtag doesn't exist. If it does, then add one.
Right. Exactly. And then we also have to set a workflow to -1 from that field in the future.
What, every time it goes past the 24 hours that one of the hashtags was created?
Or we could do it where we create a new hashtag thing for every hashtag that's ever created, and then count the ones that the created date is within the last 24 hours.
But how are you then comparing them to make sure that, because otherwise you'll then have one for every single one, but you won't have multiple of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense.
Well,
did that make sense to you, or did I just talk after gibberish?
Wait, what was the question? Are we going to compare what?
So how are we going to compare? So when someone uses a hashtag, how are we going to then check if that hashtag has been used before and needs to be added to the number of times that's been done? But basically, how are we saying this is the most trending hashtag because this has got the highest count on it? If we're creating a new type, a new record every time a new hashtag is used or a hashtag is used.
Yeah, I hear you.
I like the other way you did it, but because that does add up and it does create a list of hashtags. It's just difficult because it then comes to how do you work out trending of all time then becomes easy, but trending within a certain time frame becomes more difficult.
So if we do it the first way that I was talking about, then essentially what you do is you do a search for all hashtags and then you sort by the highest count, 24-hour count.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like the leaderboard that I did back in February.
Oh, for the Discord one.
Mm-hmm. Because what I did was I created these buckets of time and then I was just moving references.
I feel like that's been really intense.
So it's probably a pretty intense thing that they've got going on at Twitter too. Because if we created the hashtag for each time a hashtag is used, and then we added that hashtag reference into but that only works for up to 10,000, and clearly One Life is going to exceed that within its first day of launching.
Love you, Tonya.
Love you more. So that wouldn't work. But you can count.
There's the really simple way that I've done already, which is apply a value to likes, comments, dislikes, and show the most like post. It's not something that I really need. It's kind of a brain teaser to work out how to do it, because there's so many like templates out there. Twitter,
I like,
one thing they leave out is trending, which is a big part of Twitter.
Yeah, I like my initial ideas. So we'll make a hashtag thing. And in the thing, we will have the hashtag text. We'll have an all-time count. Number is what I'm looking for. I'll have a 24-hour count. And you could do other buckets if you wanted to. So like last 30 this year, that sort of thing. And then we look for matching hashtags. If there isn't one, we create this new thing and add to these counts. So what we would do is here.
But here's my question though. If every time I use a hashtag that's already been used, it adds to that list. But I could add to that list 23 hours and 59 minutes before it's going to go out, before the initial hashtag date runs out, which means it then wouldn't be counted again.
No, hang on.
Okay.
I got you. Watch. If I can find my page. What did I call it? I thought I called it extraction. That's what I called it. Here we go. So this will be our input. This will be our button. And then we're going to do a repeating group.
Did you see what our boy Elon said about Jeff Bezos today? He tweeted out, turns out Jeff Bezos retired in order to pursue a full-time job fighting lawsuits against SpaceX.
I can't hear you. You're breaking up. I'm having internet issues, so maybe it's just me.
Is Tonya breaking up for anyone else, or is it just my head? It might be my headphones.
Oh no, I hear it too.
You hear it too? It's breaking up? Yeah, it's not just me. Okay.
My headphones.
Okay. So hashtag a 24-hour count. And then this, we want to sort by 24-hour count descending.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think my headphones might be dying.
Yeah. Okay. So now when this is created, when this is clicked, we're going to take that input and make a new hashtag thing. So if there isn't one, we'll create a new hashtag. If there is one, we'll modify the hashtag. Hashtag where the hashtag text is equal to inputs value. First item. So not that one. I wonder if that will work, or if I have to separate them out. We'll test it and find out. Then I want to trigger my API workflow. I'm being a little hacky here. This is one of those do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so not using the extraction here. We're just going to enter text here. We're going to call it a hashtag. When I click the button, it's going to come to the workflows. It's going to create a new hashtag. If a search the database shows that that hashtag doesn't already exist, and it will put in the count for 24 hours +1 and all time +1. Or if something in the database with that hashtag text already does exist, it will just make changes to that by adding one to the 24-hour count and adding one to the all-time count. If the results of step 1 is empty, right? I can't use opposite ones here because this won't be true when this happens. So that's why I did it this way. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, but we might have to figure out how to do that. Then I schedule a workflow, right? And I'm going to send in the results of step 1 for the new hashtag, the results of step 2 for the existing hashtag. And then if you look at the workflows in the backend workflows, 24 hours later, after we create or modify the hashtag, we will subtract 1 from that 24-hour count. And then what we have is, if I go to extraction here, design, let's preview this.
Would it help if you'd actually used a hashtag?
No, it doesn't require hashtag.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
Well, nope. It would help if my, what was wrong here? Data, did I just create a hashtag thing or not? Yeah, I did. So my design, I'm looking for all hashtags for our count descending. Yes, right. This is current cells, hashtags, hashtag text, and 24-hour count. Privacy rules.
Always.
Nope, it's publicly visible. I'm not logged in as a user, but that shouldn't matter. Oh, it just didn't update or something? That was weird. Okay.
Was it because we were using the API and it was a back-end workflow, so it might have taken some time? Oh, no.
Nice. Calum, let's see here.
I did not think you'd be able to do that in 45 minutes. You have excelled yourself, Tonya.
And then we can go into the back in here in the logs in the scheduler.
I hate to piss on your parade, but
okay.
How does this work with the extractor that extracts a list of hashtags?
Oh yeah, no, we're on the same page. I just wanted to see what I could do with this.
And you can do it with
so now we have it
as well as individuals.
Wait, say that one more time.
So obviously, this is just returning one text element and turning it into a hashtag. How are you doing that with a list of hashtags where some of them may already exist in the database and some of them may not?
Right. So what we're going to have to do is we'll do the extraction. We'll send the extracted bit into a backend workflow, run a recursive workflow to either add or edit the hashtag the way that I've demonstrated here, and to schedule the removal of those counts 24 hours later. You're like, yeah. Okay, do it. Show me.
Never doubted you for a second, Tonya.
But we can prove here that like the workflows have been scheduled to remove the count 24 hours later. So that's good. Okay, so I have this extractor thing here. And I want it to be equal to some value here. So like when I'm posting, when I'm making a post, I'm going to refer to this thing's hashtags, right? So let me come here. So that's the first, that was that first thing that I was trying to do, right? It was in this backend workflow, I'll have hashtags, which will be a list of texts. Guess I can just do it in here. It's clear. So this will be extract A's tags, right? So when I get into the backend workflow, what I would do here, create a new thing called hashtag. "24-hour count" would be 1, all-time count would be 1, hashtag text would be hashtags first item. Only when a search for hashtags with the hashtag text equal to hashtags first item count is less than 1. And then make changes to a thing, and it would be do a search for hashtags where the hashtag text equals hashtags first item first item. 24-hour count would be not new hashtag, hashtags first items.
It's disgusting how good you are at this, Tonya.
Hashtags, oh no, sorry, would be.
Oh, I spoke too soon.
This hashtag's 24-hour count plus 1. And then, yeah, that's all we would need to modify. Only when result of step 3 is empty. And then trigger the workflow again. Trigger. Trending. Current date and time. Hashtags. Minus item. Hashtags first item. Only when hashtags count is greater than 0. Right, so if we forget these two things exist, what we're doing is instead of creating hashtags on the original page, we send in a list of hashtags from the extractor into this API workflow. We look at the hashtags, the text, and we say, if I search for a hashtag with this exact text and I don't have any already, then I'll make a new one. If it already exists, so this won't run, the result would be empty if there's already existing hashtag. So if this is empty, then we run this one to modify the one that we found in the database, and we just add 1 to the 24-hour count. Then we're just going to run that over and over until we run out of hashtags to create or modify. Then at the very end, what we would do is run run a different one, an API workflow to remove the 24-hour count, right? So we would create a new API workflow to remove. Move 24 count. So go back to trending. Do this and result of step 4. No, I think what we want to do is we'll send in the whole list of, how do I want to do that? I think I'll use a database trigger for it actually.
Why not? Add that to the list of things I'll have to learn to implement this.
So hashtag before change 24-hour count is not hashtag now's 24-hour count. Is less than hashtag now's 24-hour count. Okay, so when I'm here and I'm adding to the count of these hashtags, it's gonna trigger this database. It'll trigger this workflow, which is to schedule the one that I just deleted. Remove. Changes to hashtag 24-hour count is hashtags 24-hour count -1. And then this one, call it trigger. And all we'll do is we'll take this and schedule the workflow we just made. Let's remove 24.
What I was going to suggest as well.
Current date and time plus 1 day. Hashtag is hashtag now. There we go.
Hang on, what's that ignore privacy rule when running the workflow?
Oh yeah, that's one of the great benefits of using back-end workflows is you can ignore your own privacy rules in the back-end because the work that's happening here is happening on the bubble servers and not at all like interacting in real time with the user's browser. You can click here to ignore the privacy rules and allow people to do things that you wouldn't allow them to do in the browser because it wouldn't be secure.
So the data never actually ends up on the user's browser, so it's fine. So say you want to make a change to something without knowing what it was to start with, it's fine because you're making a change on the bubble server rather than on the browser where they'd be able to see what it was to start with and what it changed to.
Yeah, exactly.
I love my ability to explain things. I have no idea how to do
what you're talking. All right, but did you understand all of that? Kind of, sort of. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
No, I'll rewatch the video afterwards and learn it as I do it. Did I understand?
I'll talk it through one last time, just be clear. So like this trending one here.
Thomas, did you have something to say? Because I really need to pop to the bathroom. So did you have something to say, Thomas?
No, I did, but then I forgot.
Then you forgot what you were going to say.
I don't know. I just forgot. It just slipped out of my mind.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got trending workflow. Probably just need to change this and call it something different. Instead of trending, we'll just call it tag add edit. Add edit. All right. Because take this out and we'll take this out. So all we're going to get is a list of hashtags. So with that list of hashtags, we're either going to create a new hashtag or make changes to a hashtag. When we add one to this field in either case, after either one of these is done, a hashtag thing in the database will have one more in the 24-hour count after this is run than it did before. That's what's going to trigger this workflow. Sorry, this one. Trigger remove 24, because it's looking for the hashtag before the change. It's counting, and then it's saying is less than. When it's less than, it's what it is after we make the change. Then we're going to trigger the remove 24, which is going to take that hashtag and subtract 1.
So I got a quick question, Tonya, about
Sure.
backend workflows. You pretty much said that it happens on Bubble's side rather than the user side, right? What scenarios that are often done on user side could you convert into like a backend workflow? Is there any suggestions on that?
Almost anything. There are very few scenarios where you can't run it on the back end. And all of those scenarios have to do with the things that you can tell Bubbles do on the screen in real time in reaction to the user like using the software. But even then you can use the database and backend workflows to kind of hack around it. So reasons why you might do that is when you have a two-sided marketplace and you want to keep your privacy rules pretty strict so that users can't tell different information about other users that you don't want them to, but you need that information in order to like process a payment or something like that. So then you can trigger the backend workflow and check both the API workflow here, ignore privacy rules when running the workflow here, but also where you trigger it on the page. So like here, I can say ignore privacy. And so things that, wouldn't work because the current user doesn't have any access to searches of the database where they're locked out. If you click this button here and you put the search, then it'll do the search, but the search will happen in the back end.
Gotcha.
So they'll be able to see things and interact with things that they wouldn't be able to otherwise.
And since it's being done on Bubble's side, does that make things generally faster?
So there's a case to be made for putting stuff to the back end if you don't need your user to wait for the response, right, in real time, or if you want them to wait and let it process in the back end because it would be faster. It definitely helps to get it definitely helps to keep the browser from locking up in terms of like waiting for a whole bunch of things to happen. You can send it to the backend and let the user keep working while whatever is processing from the backend workflows. So it's
something like triggering a pop-up though, you wouldn't be able to do that because you can't access the element. So you'd have to create something in the database that said when this is true, trigger this pop-up. But that would involve waiting for it to create something in the database, the UI to recognize that it exists, then to trigger the pop-up. So that would be an example of when not to do something in a backend workflow because it would be a really poor UI, right?
Exactly. Yep. So you just it's a balancing act. Balancing act. Well, I hate to cut us short, but I had a meeting that I had to schedule for 11:45 today. So I do need to end a little bit early today, but I feel like we got a good build along in. That felt like it was useful.
Definitely. That was really helpful.
Yeah. So, and we'll be back here on Monday. So bring your questions and happy to help out. And if this is the first time you're watching a CoCreative NoCode office hours, either live on Facebook or on YouTube, please, if you would like to join us for a complimentary session, go ahead and comment on the live and Kim will send you credentials, or you can send an email to team@cocreativenocode.com and we'll send you the credentials for the Zoom. You can come and join us for a free session and see what it's all about. We'd love to help you out. Thank you everybody for being here today. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.